Yeah. So if like we're trying to we right now we just cornered the king with only one queen, right? So it's basically, well, we've already done that. So yeah, look, using this only one queen, we're using the cutoff method or the knight move away method, right? And then we just bring a king and then give checkmate. Okay, so now let's just one more time. Let's review the different steps, right? So first, we have to decide a square for our opponent's king to go to. So that's one of the four corners, right? So one of these squares. Now these are the four corners. It's quite literally just the corners of the word. Okay. Now usually the square that we want to push the king to is the one closest. So in this case we pushed it here. Like tried to move it to this corner. But I mean it could have been easier to move it here. And the way that we do that is if we want the king to go here, right? That means that we don't want the king to go this way. And if we don't want the king to go this way, then we put our queen here. So then the king cannot run across. So you'll notice that you might be wondering this isn't a knight move away, right? So sometimes the first move for the queen, it's not going to be a knight move away, right? Because remember, the queen can't jump anywhere. Like the queen can't jump over here to get a knight move away. It can only move diagonally up and down or side to side. Okay, so now the queen went here. Now that's on the first move, it's not a knight move away. But on the second move, you'll notice that it's a knight move away. So if we just continue that pattern, so the king is forced all the way here. Now it's on the last row, right? Now what happens on the last row? What do we do? Once the king is on the last file, the opponent's king, what should we do? Should we move our queen? Arian? Exactly. So what should we do instead? Once the king is on the last row, what should we do? Exactly. So, well, we just bring our king right in front of the opponent's king. So directly in front. So now they're directly in front, right? So now we put our queen in front of the opponent's king. And it's checkmate. Okay, so start. We try and uh choose which corner. So we chose this corner. Then we get our queen a knight move away, and then we just continue that. So once we get a knight move away, then we have to continue moving a knight move away. And when there is like two knight moves that you can move to, like over here, we can go here to d3 or e4. Then we have to choose the square that we've been like moving in the same direction. Uh, so notice here, we've always been like two squares up and one square to the right, right, of the black king. So then if we continue that, two squares up and one square right. So again, two squares up, one square right. So once we choose one way to give the knight move away, is stick to that. So if we changed and went like over here, then we're two squares right, one square up, right? That's a it's gonna eventually get a bit confusing. So once you choose one knight move away method, then you have to stick to that for that the rest of that game at least. So we just keep giving the knight move away, and finally when the king is on the last row, we bring our king right in front of the opponent's king, and then once they were right in front, and then let's say even if black's king moved away, then we put our queen right in front of the opponent's king. All right. So any questions about that? No? Alright. So, our class is almost done, but what we're gonna do for this week's homework is, do you guys all have chess.com? Okay, nice. Uh, good job. So that was last week's homework. So good that you guys all completed that. And so now what we're gonna do is once that you guys log into chess.com, then you go to see if I can find it. Yes, this. So you go to this hat, right? It's the fourth one down. Then you go to this button called Endgames. Okay, once you go to Endgames, then you'll see this screen. Then you click on Checkmates, and then click on Queen Mate. Now for Queen Mate, then you can just hit start, and what you basically have to do is try to checkmate the opponent's king, right? And so how we do that? So we just have to remember the methods that we've been using so far. So we have the cutoff method, the knight move away, and the bringing our king right in front, right? So in this position, what do you guys think is the best move? Sanjeevi? Well, yeah, if we move our queen to e8, the problem is we said that we shouldn't give a check until our final move when we give checkmate, right? And queen e8, that's a check because we're attacking the king. And that means that the king can start running away, right? He'll go here, then start running. So what we want to do is we already have our king, the black king, in the final row of the board, right? Like you'll notice it's in the last row. So because it's in the last row, what do we have to do? Anyone can answer. Uh, Ian? Sorry? Which one step closer? Right, so we could put our queen to e7. Sorry, e7, right? But remember, the king is already on the last row. That means that we don't want to move our queen. All we have to do is bring our king right in front of the opponent's king. So that would be this square, right? They were right in front of each other. Now that I moved one square to the side, where's the checkmate? Nicholas? Yeah, so what square is that? Nice, good job. So the queen goes to h7, and it's checkmate. So now we have this position, right? So now we want the cut off method. So we want the king to be in the last row of the board and not let it move away. So where should we move this queen? Sanjeevi? Right. So we can go to g6, right? But the problem is the king will go here, and then it can go here, and then it's gonna get a lot more complicated. So you can go to g6, but what I suggest is somewhere else. So instead, let's say d7. The reason that is because then we cut the king off. Then the king is only on the last row. Then we can just easily bring our king and then give a checkmate. Alright? So there is multiple ways to give checkmate, right? So with a queen. But um, the method that I'm suggesting you guys do is the cutoff method, where you first cut the king off, choose a square, right, that you want the opponent's king to force it into. Then you put our queen a knight move away, like in this position, it's a knight move away, and then you start bringing our and then if you keep giving the knight move away, the king will eventually be forced to the corner that you want it to go to, right? And once you do that, then you can just bring your king right in front of the opponent's king, and then put the queen right in front of the opponent's king, and then that'll be checkmate. All right. So if you guys have any questions on this, I'll send this recording out, and you guys can rewatch in case you guys have any questions, or you could just send me an email. All right. So I think that will be the end of today's class. Wait, Sanjeevi, do you have a question? Oh, do you mean like this? This? Yeah, so you go to this, if you have chess.com, then you go to the fourth one down, and then you just hover over it, don't click it, and games. Yeah, and games, then you go to checkmates, then queen mate, and then you can, yeah. I'll send that, those instructions. Alright, bye. Have a nice week.